right. Good evening, and welcome to the last place that anybody wants to be right now. It is good to see you, despite the fact that I'd much rather be seeing you in person, and I'm sure that's the case for most people. But here we are, back for another month of quizzing in quarantine, literally from quarantine or lockdown, especially if you are watching in Ontario. It's been a tough week to be an Ontarian amidst all of what has transpired and the restrictions that are now in place. But if we have to look at the silver lining, it means at least that it gives us a chance to all gather and be here together for another 4 weeks of quizzing in quarantine. Trivia live from my house, and where it's been live from for the past over a year now. We started our first quizzing in quarantine night, I think it was either March 29th or April 6th or 7th, 2020. And here we are, April 10th, April 9th, doing it all over again. But thank you for being here. And thank you as well for making this month possible, Steam Whistle. They've been with us and been such great supporters of this night for so long. And they're doing it once again. You know, there was some, wasn't sure if we were going to bring this back, but then when the lockdown happened and when Steam Whistle stepped up again to the plate to provide prizes and sponsorship, it was hard to say no. So we said yes, and here we are, back for 4 more weeks at least. You know, who knows what the end of April will bring, but every Friday in the month of April, excluding last Friday because it was Good Friday, we will be here for roughly 2 hours of virtual trivia. Welcome. If you're new and have not played in the previous incarnations, welcome. Glad to have you on board. If you're a familiar face who's coming back, it's really nice to see you again. A lot of the same rules and same format apply. In a couple moments, I'll share the link for the scorecard in the chat, which is what you'll need in order to follow along. That's pretty much it. If anyone joined along for February, about a month and a bit ago, we were in the same spot doing the same thing. And we partnered with Steam Whistle again, but also the Downey Wenjack Fund, which was fantastic. And we were so happy to have them as our charity of choice for that month of February. We are without a charity of choice this month, but I do have one fundraising request for you that I'll get to in a little bit. But it's a little more of a free-for-all this month. So if you've got ideas for theme nights or questions or anything you want to see, let me know. You know, I've been so blown away with how generous this group has been. Every time we've tried to do some fundraising, people have stepped up to the plate. And that does not go unnoticed, and it certainly comes with a lot of gratitude. Anyway, here is what I will do. I will share in the chat the link for our scorecard. Let me see if we can find it here. This is the sheet that you need in order to track your score as a team over the course of the evening. Only one person on your team needs to fill this out. I'll share it in the chat. But as I've said all along, tonight and every night, this evening is predicated on honesty and on some degree of respect for the rules, meaning that you are marking your own booklets or your own answers, you're inputting your own scores. There are some great prizes up for grabs, namely free beer from Steam Whistle. But the hope is that you are respectful of the honesty process, the honor system, and that you answer and score yourselves accordingly. Happy spring, Kathy. Great to see you back. Thanks so much for all your support throughout the months and now years. RIP DMX. Yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be 2 competing themes among team names tonight, both involving deaths of prominent people known for very, 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 very different things. Yeah, Dan, I noticed that I should put socks on because it's disgusting. My feet, I don't have socks on right now. And I realize this is a different camera I'm using tonight, and it's a bit of a wider lens. No one needs to see that. I'm sure it's been a tough enough week. You don't need to see my disgusting white, long-toed feet. Anyway, we'll get going in just a second. If anyone has any questions about how the night works or how prizes work or how the score system works, that's pretty much now is the time to voice those questions. As we wait for a couple more people to join us, we've got 86 concurrent viewers, which is fantastic. And feel free to send this link to folks who you think might want to play along. If you want to just watch along and don't fill out the score sheet, that's okay too. Lots of room for lurkers. It's already hot though. It's like 18 degrees in the city today. I think I still got my COVID-19 Conquer COVID-19 T-shirt, which I think we thought this time last year this shirt would have come to fruition. Has not yet, but that's okay. We'll get there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my feet are for the OnlyFan account holders. All right. As I mentioned, format is the same. So if you're familiar with Drinking and Thinking or Quizzing in Quarantine, you'll know we have all the mainstays tonight. We've got things I think you should know, a general knowledge round. We've got the 10. We've got a movie round. We've got before and after. We've got Final Jeopardy and a couple surprises. So buckle up. This is Quizzing in Quarantine, the first edition for April 2021. I'll start with things I think you should know, 10 random knowledge trivia questions. Each question is worth a single point. I will read the questions twice and once at the end of the round if you need them repeated at the end. These are general knowledge trivia questions, no theme tonight for this round. Here we go. Question number one. We'll start touching on the world of travel because it's something none of us have been able to do in the last while. But if we were able to travel, maybe you'd know the answer to this question. What is the largest country by population that exists solely in the Southern Hemisphere? This means that no part of it is in the Northern Hemisphere or on the equator. It exists entirely in the Southern Hemisphere, and it is the largest country in the Southern Hemisphere by population. What is it? Name the country that has the largest population entirely in the Southern Hemisphere. Question number two, what Shakespeare play are you watching if you see two gravediggers on stage? Question number two, what Shakespeare play are you watching if two gravediggers appear on stage? Question number three, things I think you should know. What part of the body is affected by myopia? Myopia is spelled M-Y-O-P-I-A. What part of the human body is affected by myopia? Question number four. Name the only country in the world that currently has an emperor as its head of state. Name the only country in the world that currently has an emperor as its head of state. Question number five. If You Had My Love, released in May of 1999, coming up on 22 years ago next month, this was the first #1 single for what pop star? The song again, If You Had My Love. It was released in May of 1999, and it was the first #1 single of what now world famous pop star? Question number 6, the world of viruses, because we're not getting enough of those these days. Question number 6, what disease's name stems from a medieval term meaning bad air? What illness or disease has a name that stems from a medieval term meaning bad air? 1 second. That's a lot better. There we go. That was question number 6. Question number 7 in the things I think you should know. Question number 7. Name the first superhero film that netted a member of its cast an Oscar nomination. Plenty of superhero films had previously won or been nominated for Oscars in areas such as special effects and makeup and other areas. But this was the first superhero film that netted a member of its cast an Oscar nomination. Question number 8 every week, as you probably are aware, is a Know Your News clue, a question from the news cycle from the last 7 days. We try and steer away from pandemic-related news questions, but this is probably the second biggest news story of the week. It just happened today, the death of Prince Philip at 99. The question, in what country was Prince Philip born 99 years ago? If you can name Prince Philip's country of birth, you will get a point. Again, in what country was Prince Philip born is question number 8. Question number 9, name the soda pop sold in North America only between 1992 and 1994. It was then forced off the shelves due to public outcry, and its parent company decided to stop production and stop selling it. You have to name that beverage. Sold in North America between 1992 and 1994, at which point public outcry resulted in its parent company pulling this beverage, off the shelves. Name that pop. And finally, the last question in the round, question number 10. Name the classic computer game that turns 50 this year, believe it or not. It was created for student teacher Don Rawich's 8th grade history class at Bryan Junior Public School in Minneapolis. Name that computer game. This year, celebrating its 50th anniversary, it was created for student teacher Dan Rawich's 8th grade history class at Bryant Junior High in Minneapolis. He got together with 2 friends, and together they created this program for his class. Little did they know it would go on to have much, much wider success, named that computer program. I mean, I guess 1971 doesn't sound all that long ago, but it is 50 years, and it's hard to believe that computer programs were even prolific back, maybe not prolific, but were present back then. Those are the 10 questions that make up round number 1, things I think you should know. I will go back now and reread each question rather briefly, just so you, if you are just joining us, I know we're now up to just over 100 viewers online, so if you have not heard some of the questions that were answered previously, you'll get a chance to do that right now. I'm also going to pin to the top of this chat the score sheet that you'll need in, not right now, but in another round once we take up the scores for rounds 1 and round 2. But here we go, starting again at the beginning of round 1. What is the largest country by population that exists solely in the Southern Hemisphere? Question number 2. What Shakespeare play are you watching if you see 2 gravediggers appear? Question number 3. What part of the human body is affected by myopia? What part of the human body is affected by myopia? Question number 4. Name the only country in the world that currently has an emperor as its head of state. Question number 5. If You Had My Love, released in May of 1999, was the first #1 single for what pop star? Question number 6. What disease's name stems from a medieval term meaning bad air? Question number 7. Name the first superhero film to net a member of its cast an Oscar nomination. Question number 8, know your news. In what country was Prince Philip born? Question number 9, name the soda pop sold in North America from 1992 until 1994. Then at that point, public outcry, public criticism for the product forced its parent company to pull it from the shelves. Name that pop. And then finally, number 10, name the classic computer game that turns 50 this year. It was created for student teacher Dan Rawich's 8th grade history class at Bryant Junior High in Minneapolis. Those are the 10 questions that will earn you a possible 10 points in round number 1. We will now move on to round number 2, which is called the 10. Here's how this works if you're not familiar. I'm going to give you a list of things. You have to write down 10 things that exist on that list correctly, and you will get a single point for every correct item on the list. You cannot write down anything more than 10 items, because actually the list I'm going to give you does have more than 10 items that are eligible, but you cannot write down more than 10, if you get me. Here is that question tonight. I'm going to give us, I feel like 7 minutes tonight is probably manageable for this round. You're either going to know or you're not. And if you don't know, then just take some decent guesses. Putting 7 minutes on the clock for you to answer this question. Here we go. 12 different television shows have won the Emmy for Outstanding Comedy since the turn of the century, meaning since the year 2000. Name 10 of them. Name 10 comedies that have won Best Comedy at the Emmys in the last 21 years, starting now. 7 minutes on the clock. I should mention that some of these shows have won multiple times. You're only allowed to write that show down once, even if it is a multiple year winner. Just over 2 minutes left to complete the list of 10 of the 12 comedy series that won the Emmy for Best Comedy over the last 21 years at the Emmys. Again, these are all, there are 12 of them. You only can write down 10 that won the Emmy for Best Comedy Series since the turn of the century. "30 seconds left to complete the list. And that is time. Time to stop writing down your answers. And as we get set to take up the answers from rounds 1 and rounds 2, we'll go back. This is where, in a couple seconds, where you're going to need the score sheet. But first, we will take up the answers so you know what scores to enter in that score sheet. As I mentioned, the questions in round number 1 are each worth a single point. Those answers that will earn you those points are: question number 1, the largest country by population that is south of the equator, and it's entirely south of the equator, is South Africa. Lots of populous countries on the border or on the equator, like Brazil and Indonesia, but South Africa, believe it or not, is the largest country completely south of the equator. Question number 2, the Shakespeare play that you're watching, if you see 2 grave diggers appear, is Hamlet. I believe in one of the first scenes, if not the first scene. Question number 3, what part of the body is affected by myopia? That would be the eyes. I believe it's nearsightedness. Question number 4, the only country in the world that currently has an emperor as its head of state is Japan. Question number 5, the song If You Had My Love was the first #1 single for J-Lo. Jennifer Lopez is the correct answer for number 5. Number 6, what disease's name stems from a medieval term meaning bad air? If you were able to translate this into French and know that the word mal means bad in French, you might guess malaria. That is the correct answer, malaria. Question number 7, this is an interesting one. Name the first superhero film that netted a member of its cast an Oscar nomination. I believe an Oscar win as well, though it might have been posthumously, I believe it was. The film was The Dark Knight, and the actor was Heath Ledger for his role as the Joker in that film. The Dark Knight, though, the correct answer. Number 8, what country was Prince Philip born? Contrary to what popular belief, it is not in the United Kingdom. It was actually Greece. Prince Philip was born and raised, at least for the early part of his life, in Greece before, I think, moving to Germany and then the UK. Greece. Number 9, the pop that was sold in North America for 2 years in the early 90s and then pulled off the shelves due to public criticism was Crystal Pepsi. Crystal Pepsi is number 9. And then finally, number 10, believe it or not, the game turning 50 years old this year, invented originally to serve a Minneapolis grade 8 history class, is the Oregon Trail. The Oregon Trail. Those are the answers for round number 1. Total score out of 10. Moving on to the 10. You get a single point for every correct name of these shows that you included on the list. Again, you could only write down 10 names. So if you have more than 10 shows on your list, you got to scratch out as many as you need to in order to get down to 10. Last on the list, or at least in reverse order of years in which they won, going back to the year 2000, the Emmy-winning comedy in 2000 was Will and Grace. Will and Grace, number 12 on the list. Next up in the year 2001 was Sex and the City. Then in 2002, I can't believe this still won this late into its run, but Friends won in 2002. Arrested Development won in 2004. Everybody Loves Raymond won in the year 2003 and 2005. 2 years for Everybody Loves Raymond. Wow. After that, The Office in 2008. Also 30 Rock 3 times in 2009, 2008, and 2007. That actually should be 2006, I believe. Modern Family's on the list as well. They won 5 times, starting in 2010 through to 2014, Modern Family. Then we have Veep, winning in 2017, 16, and 15. Veep. Rather recently in 2018, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is on the list. In 2019, Fleabag. And most recently, in 2020, Canada's own Schitt's Creek. Again, you get a single point for every one of these shows you have on the list. Will and Grace, Sex and the City, Friends, Arrested Development, Everybody Loves Raymond, The Office, 30 Rock, Modern Family, Veep, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Fleabag, and Schitt's Creek. It is now time to add up your scores from rounds 1 and rounds 2 and appoint someone on your team to click that link for the Google Sheet and enter your score for those 2 rounds. I will start accepting scores now. Perfect. I've already got 17 teams coming in. Great to see so many familiar teams coming back here. All right, looks like we've got a lot of teams who have inputted their scores. If you've not done so, not to worry, you can still do that. But I will take a minute to thank everybody for joining, and we'll introduce all the teams. So far, we've got 44 teams playing tonight, a nice little turnout. Those teams in absolutely no particular order. Well, I guess technically the order in which you were able to get your scores in. Welcome to the game tonight. We've got X No Longer Gonna Give It To Ya. A Case of the Mondays, Once, Twice, 3 times a lockdown. No, that's another bad one. We've got Trivia Lassies, the dog. Duke, gonna give it to ya. Gates of Hell, Gates felt like Matt Gates' last name, well done. Billy Ray Virus, Stop, Drop, Shut 'em Down, Close Up Your Shop. Livin' Covita Loca, Burt Macklin FBI, Beercle on Parliament Street, Second Last, Dougie's Lockdown Bitches, Can I Please Get a Waffle, The Filbos, A Tribe Called Questions, CrustaceanHub.com, Team Fine Balance, Moderna Family, I like that, Tit Soup for the Stay-at-Home Ordered Soul, Thigh Masters of the Universe, The Quarantine, Jackie Channing Tatum, Big Fact, Hunt, Need Haircut, Will Travel, Ford's Patio Nation, COVID-69, Shit's Bleak, that's pretty good, Cabin Fever Fight Club, Threat Level Midnight, Cotton Balls, Werewolf Bar Mitzvah, Finger Toes Mackay, sad but true, These Nuts Are Back, Fun Team Fact, You Can Rewind YouTube, Bitch, I'm Moderna, still one of the best team names, Pop Up a Penny and the Jets, Shit, We Forgot to Think of a Name, 469 Scooter Gang, We Don't Know Jack, Robert Cajun, Stay at Home Odor, Shower Free since '03, Prince Philip's Ghost, first Prince Philip reference tonight, Third Wave Badgers, Monocle Whores, Portal Pilgrims, and it appears that those are all the teams that have so far registered their score. That is 48 teams tonight competing. But if you've not registered your score, not to worry, there's still a chance to do that. If you don't have the link, check in the chat of the YouTube window, and you should see the link to the Google scorecard. Just before we move on to round number 2, which is going to be some exciting rounds, I think. I did want to give a selfish plug to something that I am doing this month, and if I know there are actually a lot of people on this chat who I've seen already be super generous and donate, but if you remember, I was actually doing it about a year ago now this time. I've been involved with an organization called Covenant House here in Toronto for about 4 or 5 years now. They do fantastic work. They are the city's largest youth homeless shelter, supporting youth who are experiencing homelessness and a variety of other issues involving addiction and sex trafficking and a number of things that, frankly, I in my life have never had to experience. But through working with Covenant House, I've learned a little bit about, and these young people are incredibly special and incredibly driven and need a little bit of assistance, and Covenant House provides that. So on the 29th of April, I'm actually sleeping outside for a night with some friends, and I'm hoping that if you are inclined and feel like supporting it, I'm going to share in the chat the fundraising campaign that I am embarking on. People, as I mentioned, have already been super generous, and thank you to those on this feed tonight who have already donated. I'm on the organizing committee this year, so I feel like there's extra pressure for me to bring in the big bucks. So if you have any extra money kicking around, $5, $10, $20, anything you can afford, Covenant House is a really great cause. I'm really proud to work with them and support them. And if you have the chance, I ask you to donate. I'll mention it a couple more times this month, but it's not. Obviously, you're welcome to play here all the time for free, whether you donate or not. That's just a little side pitch or a side plug before we move on to round number 3, which we will do right now. Round number 3 is going to start with a rapid fire round. Here's how a rapid fire round works. I am only going to read the questions twice, not once at the end of the round, but as someone noted in their team name, if you really want to, you can always rewind YouTube and go back and listen to the question. But these are relatively short questions, and all of them result in just one word answer. And it's a theme round, the round tonight. Here is how it works. Every question, the answer to every question is also a fairly common first name. First name, I guess, in the English language, really. I'm going to give you a clue, and you're going to have to, know the answer. So if I said something like, what people do often at City Hall, the answer might be Mary. That's a bad example. It's not on this quite. I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. But basically, every answer is going to be a person's first name. Got it? I think it's self-explanatory, or it should be once I start reading the questions. I will only read them twice and not once at the end of the round. Here we go. Rapid fire round 3 begins now. Of Africa's 16 landlocked nations, it's the largest. Question number 1. Of Africa's 16 landlocked nations, it is the largest. Reminder that all of the answers in this round are also first names. Question number 2, rapid fire. It governs the amount of light that reaches your retina. Question number 2. It governs the amount of light that reaches your retina. Question number 3. An electoral district within a municipality. Question number 3. An electoral district within a municipality. Question number 4, rapid fire. Founded in 1837, currently headquartered at 200 Fifth Avenue, New York City. Question number 4 again. Founded in 1837, currently headquartered at 200 Fifth Avenue, New York City. Question number 5. A crane with a movable pivoted arm for lifting heavy weights, especially onto a ship. Question number 5. A crane with a movable pivoted arm for lifting heavy weights, especially onto a ship. Question number 6. One of the most extensively cultivated fruit crops in the world, with Spain, Greece, and Italy producing more than half of the global supply. Just a reminder, the theme of this round, all of the answers are also common first names in the Anglo world. Again, number 6. One of the most extensively cultivated fruit crops in the world, with Spain, Greece, and Italy producing more than half of the global supply. Question number 7. A network of interconnecting rabbit burrows. They get increasingly more obscure, I fully am aware. Question number 7. A network of interconnecting rabbit burrows. Question number 8. A candle maker. Question number 8. A candle maker. Question number 9. This is somewhat of a tough one. Number 9. Compassion for the misery of another. Question number 9. Compassion for the misery of another. And finally, question number 10, the last question in this rapid fire round. All the answers again are names of humans. And this is the only one where the answer is more than one word. You need to list 4 of the 7 letters in the NATO phonetic alphabet that fit this category. And by letters, I mean the full words. 4 of the 7 letters in the NATO phonetic alphabet that fit this category. And you know what? If you name all 7, I'll give you a bonus point. And I will say that 6 out of the 7 definitely fit this category. 1 is a little, well, I took a bit of creative license with 7, but it definitely fits as well. Again, number 10, 4 of the 7 letters in the NATO phonetic alphabet that fit this category. And if you could name all 7, you'll get a bonus point. Those are the 10 rapid fire questions in this round. I am not repeating them again because that's not the spirit of the rapid fire round. But what I will do is give you a couple seconds to go over your answers before we move on to round number 4. All right, now it's time to move on to round number 4. Tonight it is a picture round. How this works, I'm going to put in the chat a link to a Google Doc, a PDF that you can click on and download. You're going to have, I'll be a little generous. I'll give you 10 minutes tonight to complete this picture this round. Basically, you simply have to identify what it is it's asking you to do. Tonight's a movie round. So name the film that you see a screen grab from. Pretty simple. There also is a bonus point up for grabs. If you can guess what it is that links all these films together, you will get a bonus point. Easy enough, hopefully. I'll make sure that the document is good for sharing, and I will add it into the chat, and then I will put 10 minutes on the clock, starting now. Good luck, 10 minutes. You're welcome for 10 minutes, Kelsey. It's also just going to give me time to get another beer and prepare some things. Ross, you should see the link above you. Checking in on the time left in this round, 6 minutes, 6 minutes to complete the movie round. How much time we got now? 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in this round. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Oh, that's amazing, Spam. I think Spam's on the team that won the Danny Wenjack gift pack during our final night in 2000, in February rather, where the folks from Danny Wenjack gave away a hoodie and a toque and a pin and some great prizes. So that hoodie is coveted. They were kind enough to give me a toque and a pin, but I do not have a Danny Wenjack hoodie. That's a pretty sweet piece of swag. Send me a picture of it if you can when you get that, Spam. Love to throw that up on our social media. Time check. Under a minute now. Under a minute left in this round. All right, time is up. Time to put down your writing utensils and we will get set to take up the answers from rounds 3 and rounds 4. I realized I didn't get the averages for rounds 1 and 2, so we'll do that in just a second. Before we take up the answers, another pitch for selfish purposes. We now have a new Quizzing in Quarantine Instagram account. I think my friends who follow my own personal Instagram account were getting tired of my promoting of Quizzing in Quarantine. And so I have now started an account just dedicated to trivia, and as a bit of incentive, I'm trying, not always succeeding, but trying to post a trivia question a day to keep you your minds limber as you get set every week. So if you are on Instagram, look up quizzing.and.quarantine. You'll see our logo, and I'll make sure to post links to every week's stream on that feed, and also update you about special Quizzing in Quarantine events, plus the trivia question a day. So please give that a follow if you can. You can follow my own account too, but it's just not nearly as trivia focused. So that is that. All right. Here we go. Answers from rounds 3 and rounds 4. We'll start with the answers for the rapid fire round. As I mentioned, every correct answer is simply a one word and just a name, common first name. And those answers are: first, of Africa's 16 landlocked countries, it is the largest. It is Chad. Question number 2, it governs the amount of light that reaches your retinas. It is iris, your iris. Number 3, an electoral district within a municipality. That would be a ward, W-A-R-D, ward. Question number 4, founded in 1837, currently headquartered at 205th Avenue, New York City. That would be Tiffany. Tiffany's the jewelry company, also obviously a popular last name, or a popular first name rather. At least it was in the 80s. Number 5, a crane with a movable pivoted arm for lifting heavy weights, especially on a ship. This is a little tougher. It is a derrick, D-E-R-R-I-C-K. Spelling doesn't count. If you wrote it the way that a lot of Derek spell their name, like D-E-R-E-K, you'll get the point still. Question number 6. One of the most extensively cultivated fruit crops in the world, with Spain, Greece, and Italy producing half the global supply. That is an olive. Olive, also a first name. Number 7, a network of interconnecting rabbit burrows, also known as a warren. Warren, W-A-R-R-E-N, warren. Number 8, a candle maker. That would be a chandler. Chandler, from Friends. I also actually had a roommate named Chandler once, which was fitting. Number 9, compassion for the misery of another. This is kind of tough, but when you hear it, it'll make sense. The word is ruth, hence ruthless. If you are ruthless and you do not have compassion for the misery of another. But the word ruth means the opposite. Also a name. And finally, number 10, 4 of the 7 letters in the NATO phonetic alphabet that fit this category. Those are, and again, you only needed 4 of these. If you got all 7, you'll get a bonus point. The 7 I identified were Charlie, India. I know that's a little more, that's the outlier. Juliet, Mike, Oscar, Romeo, and Victor. 4 of those get you a point. All 7 get you 2. Again, those names: Charlie, India, Juliet, Mike, Oscar, Romeo, and Victor. Sierra. I can't think of like a prominent Sierra, but okay. I mean, enough people are saying it. I will accept Sierra. So if you had 4 of those, including Sierra, okay. I included India because I know an India who happens to, I think, be on this watching and playing right now, or at least does frequently. So okay. What about charity for number 9? Compassion for the misery of another. Charity. Or mercy. Oh boy, those are. I mean, I was trying to pick conventional names. I feel like I don't want to evoke stereotypes, but mercy and charity sound like names of. Oh, grace. Oh man. You know what? I will accept grace. I'm not going to accept mercy or charity because I don't think those are first names. Those when you hear those, you do not immediately think. I'm going to say grace, and I'm going to accept, obviously, Ruth. Charity was a main character on Passions. I don't think we use Passions as our benchmark for what is normal society. I'm not saying that you guys don't know people with these names. These are common names, though. I said common. So I'm accepting Grace, and I'm accepting Ruth. And that is it. Dolores. All right. No more debates, I don't think. I think we are settled. Dolores. I don't know why. I don't know if I get that reference. I went to the brass rail with a charity. That's pretty funny. All right. Moving on to the movie round, which was obviously, if you knew, you knew. There was a connector clue that linked those films together. Tried to pick something somewhat thematic to reflect the big news of the day. Movie number 1, and again, starting in top left and going as if you're reading a book. Number 1, there's an image of Anne Hathaway from the movie The Princess Diaries. Princess Diaries is movie number 1. Movie number 2, Prince of Tides with Nick Nolte, I think, and Barbara Streisand in Prince of Tides. Number 3, a little more obscure, back from mid-90s, A Kid in King Arthur's Court is number 3. Number 4, much more recent, and actually netted someone an Oscar, Olivia Colman, for her role in The Favorite. The Favorite. Number 5, I never realized that it's a Hudson's Bay mug featured in this scene. Again, that's Fred Savage's face that's just there in the left part of the frame, but that is a scene from The Princess Bride is number 5, Princess Bride. Number 6, The African Queen with Katharine Hepburn. African Queen is number 6. Number 7, sticking with old movies and a Hepburn. This time it's Audrey Hepburn in Roman Holiday. Again, the title doesn't fit the category, but her character certainly does. Number 8, also recent, also Oscar winning. It was King's Speech. That's Helena Bonham Carter, who played the King's wife in King's Speech. Number 9, perhaps the genius point of the round. I think I saw this movie ages ago and remember thinking it was funny, but I was also probably 8 at the time. That's John Goodman in a movie called King Ralph. He was like a commoner who somehow was, long in line for a throne. Anyway, King Ralph is number 9. I'll be impressed if anyone got that. And then number 10, also Oscar related film. Number 10 is The Last King of Scotland. And if you guessed it, which you probably did, the connector clue tonight is royalty. So if you had royalty or a royal family, any of those kind of things identified as a connector clue, you get the bonus point. So that round is out of a possible 11. Again, if you want to recap, Princess Bride, Princess Diaries, Prince of Tide, A Kid in King Arthur's Court, The Favorite, Princess Bride, African Queen, Roman Holiday, The King's Speech, King Ralph, and The Last King of Scotland. All right, time to put your scores in the Google Doc, and we will take up the answer, and we will give you the averages from rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4, and see what we're doing as we head into the final round of the night. Don't forget that you don't need to you just need to update your scores. You don't need to completely resubmit them again. I see some teams resubmitting twice, which is fine. They'll still be counted, but it's just easier if they're all on one line in my document here. Checking on the chat, there's been a lot more chirps. I have to admit, my own personal knowledge probably skews more to royal family than it does to DMX, and so there will be I'm not saying there's not more DMX to come in this night. In fact, there is, but I definitely erred on the side of Philip over DMX. R.I.P. DMX. All right. Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. That's a deep cut for royalty related, but that I could have done that. I also left out Royal Tenenbaums, but I felt that was too obvious. All right, let's check on the scores. If you've had a moment to update your team scores. If you're wondering what the average was for round number 1, the things I think you should know round, people seem to have done very well. The average score for round number 1 was 7. Quite impressive. The average score for round number 2, which was the 10, the TV show round, average score was 7 as well. Average score for round number 3, which was the bonus, or which was the rapid fire round, average score for that round, 7. Oh man, there's a theme here. Looks like people did well on the movie round. Might be higher than 7, the average. Let's see, the average score for the movie round, 8. 8.6 to be exact. People did real well on that. Meaning, it is now time to move on to the final 2 rounds of the night. The final 2 rounds are mainstays here on Quizzing in Quarantine. If you are brand new, I'll explain this next round because it's a bit cryptic. It's called the before and after round. It works like this. If you're familiar with Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy, I'm going to give you a rather cryptic clue. It's going to refer to 2 answers. You'll have to decipher through the question what 2 answers I'm looking for. But the crux of it is that there will be an adjoining word or letters, at least 3 letters, that make it a before and after. So if I said something like, the staff at a popular Toronto brewery whistle or hum this tune while they head to the brewery in the morning, the answer would be steam whistle while you work. Or if I asked a clue like this, the star of Mission Impossible rides a heat-seeking weapon. The star of Mission Impossible is Tom Cruise. Heat-seeking weapon is a cruise missile. The answer then is Tom Cruise missile. Make sense? If you need some clarity, write me in the chat and I can add some detail, but hopefully, I think most people on this feed have played this round before and will hopefully get it. Dan is trying to get the hashtag stripper names or real names too trending. I don't disagree with that, but they're not as common as some other names. Anyway, we will leave that round behind, and I will now ask our first before and after question. I'll read it twice and once at the end of the round. Question number one in the before and after is this. This former dictator and leader of the Khmer Rouge can be so hypocritical. That's a tough one. I'm starting with a tough one tonight. I apologize for newbies. Again, question number one. This former dictator and leader of the Khmer Rouge can be so hypocritical. Question number two. This one's maybe a little more eye level. Number two. Mr. Jessica Biel heads to the 1980 Olympics. Question number two. Mr. Jessica Biel heads to the 1980 Olympics. Question number three, before and after. The nation that is home to Abidjan en anglais can come out now. Question number three. The nation that is home to Abidjan en anglais can come out now. Question number four. The DMX/broken social scene collaboration that never was. Oh, someone needs a spelling. I'll do that spelling when we get back, when we do the round again. I see your question, Andy. Number four again, the DMX/broken social scene collaboration that never was. Question number five. The castle where Prince Philip spent many a summer is torn between right and wrong. Number five, the castle where Prince Philip spent many a summer, is torn between right and wrong? Question number 6. Famous actor who has been canceled over the last month can't touch this. Sounds like he was canceled for good reason, though obviously no charges have been laid. Question number 7. Oh, sorry, number 6. I'll read number 6 again. Number 6. Famous actor who has been canceled over the last month can't touch this. Question number 7, before and after. During your morning hygiene ritual, you pull this back and take a bow. Question number 7, before and after. During your morning hygiene ritual, you pull this back and take a bow. Question number 8. After she left her post as Secretary of State in the United States of America, she signed a deal to become the new face of a classic San Francisco treat. Again, number 8. After leaving her post as Secretary of State, she signed a deal to become the new face of a classic San Francisco treat. Question number 9, before and after. Benny Anderson has 3 bags full. I will say with this question, because I already articulated the rules, I did not really respect my own before and after rules for this question, mainly the part where it had to be 3 letters connecting. So take that into consideration as you answer this one. Again, Benny Anderson has 3 bags full is question number 9. And question number 10, the last before and after question in the round. She is preparing to leave the Bundestag later this year. Her plan is to take up third base for the Toronto Blue Jays circa 1984 to 1992. That's a bit of a deep cut. Again, she plans to leave the Bundestag, Bundestag, later this year, after which she'll be taking up third base for the Toronto Blue Jays circa 1984 to 1992. I'm now being accused of cheating in a game that I'm not even competing in. Not sure how, but I'll take it. All right, those are the 10 before and afters. I will go back and read them each one more time. I'll also spell the word Abidjan. Starting with question number 1. Again, here it is. Number 1. This former dictator and leader of the Khmer Rouge can be so hypocritical. Question number 2. Mr. Jessica Biel heads to the 1980 Olympics. Question number 3. The nation that is home to the city of Abidjan, spelt, in case you are wondering, Abidjan. Again, the nation home to Abidjan, en anglais, can come out now. I say en anglais just because the nation that I'm referring to is often and correctly written in French, but I'm asking for the purposes of this answer for the English name of that nation. Question number 4. The DMX/broken social scene collaboration that never was. Question number 5. The castle where Prince Philip spent many a summer is torn between right and wrong. Number 6. Famous actor who has been canceled over the last month can't touch this. Question number 7. During your morning hygiene ritual, you pull this back and take a bow. Question number 8. After leaving her post as Secretary of State, she signed a deal to become the new face of a classic San Francisco treat. Number 9. Benny Anderson has 3 bags full. And finally, number 10, the last question in the round. She is expected to leave the Bundestag later this year, after which she will take up third base with the Toronto Blue Jays circa 1984 to 1992. Those are the 10 before and afters. Hopefully they were not too difficult where you were able to wrap your head around the concept. This next round, I can tell you though, is a little more straightforward, a little more accessible. It is our final round of the night. It is Final Jeopardy. The following 11 questions were taken from a real Jeopardy episode. The air date of that Jeopardy episode, somewhat crucial, and I forgot to note it. Give me 1 second, and I'll find out the air date. I'll go back and check my notes. This episode of Jeopardy aired back in 2010, meaning that anything in the last 11 years of human history will not be entered into the frame of reference for these 11 questions. Got it? 2010 being the cutoff. I'll read the questions and the categories twice, once at the end of the round if you need them repeated. Here we go. Category number 1 for question number 1. Dr. Zeus on the 11 o'clock news is the category. The clue. A town of whose is saved from certain death by bezelnut juice due to the heroics and keen hearing of this tidal elephant. Question number 1, the category is Dr. Zeus and the 11 o'clock news. And the clue, a town of whose is saved from certain death by bezelnut juice due to the heroics and keen hearing of this tidal elephant. Question number 2, the category, bankrupt. The clue, January 11th, 2012, this maker of Twinkies and Wonder Bread. You have to name the company that went bankrupt. Again, the category is bankrupt, and the clue, January 11th, 2012, this maker of Twinkies and Wonder Bread. Question number 3, the category, on edge, with the letters EDGE in quotations, meaning those letters must appear in the answer. And the clue, this pounding tool takes 2 hands to operate. Sometimes Jeopardy doesn't realize what they're saying. Oh, great question, Kathy. You guys are a lot more astute than I am. I gotta double check my date then. What I did is I Googled it based on the final Jeopardy question. I thought I found it. Let me see here. Where's my J archive when I need it? I mean, I think you guys will still. I don't know why I'm having trouble finding this air date. Okay, we're going to continue, and I'll try and figure it out. And if there's any questions where there's a discrepancy due to my inability to know the date, I will reconsider. But I think every question that you are answering so far, you'll be able to answer without knowing the air date. Again, number 3, the category was on edge, the word edge in quotations, and the clue. This pounding tool takes 2 hands to operate. Good. Thank you for your accommodating and time travel. Dan, you are cool. We got this. Question number 4, the category, international affairs is the category. The clue, abbreviated OAS. It promotes cooperation and commerce between American nations. Question number 4, the category is international affairs, and the clue, abbreviated OAS. It promotes cooperation and commerce between American nations. Question number 5, the category, pop culture. The clue, in 1987, Nikki Sixx of this band was declared dead, got 2 adrenaline shots, and hitchhiked home from the hospital. Again, number 5, the category, pop culture, and the clue. In 1987, Nikki Sixx of this band was declared dead, got 2 adrenaline shots, and hitchhiked home from the hospital. Question number 6, the category, on lead vocals. In this category, Alex would give a year and a song title, and contestants had to guess the singer in a band who was on lead vocals for that track? The clue, 1987, dude looks like a lady. Who was on lead vocals? Category again is on lead vocals, and the clue, 1987, dude looks like a lady. Question number 7. The category, what are you? Yellow? That's the category, and the clue is this. In warmer regions, nests of this wasp species, named for the coloring on its abdomen, may weigh half a ton. That is terrifying and disgusting. Category again is, what are you? Yellow? And the clue, in warmer regions, nests of this wasp species, named for the coloring on its abdomen, may weigh half a ton. Question number 8, the category, Aviation Pioneers. The clue, in 1910, this man, the first name in a British auto firm, became the first to fly nonstop across the English Channel and back. It'd be great if you know his first name, but as long as you know his last, you'll get the point. The category again is Aviation Pioneers, and the clue. In 1910, this man, the first name in a British auto firm, became the first to fly nonstop across the English Channel and back. Question number 9, the category, Switzerland. The clue, Emmental, which is basically synonymous with Swiss cheese, gets its recognizable look from these microorganisms that ferment lactic acid into the carbon dioxide that make the holes. Question again is the category rather again is Switzerland, and the clue, Emmental, which is basically synonymous with Swiss cheese, gets its recognizable look from these microorganisms. They ferment lactic acid into the carbon dioxide that make the holes. Question number 10. How specific, Jennifer, are you wondering for what question? You don't have to be, if you're wondering about question 9, the Switzerland question, you don't have to be hyper specific. Question number 10, the category, books that changed America is the category. The clue, this Frenchman had good things to say about us in his 1835 to 1840 work, Democracy in America. By us, meaning them, the people who live south of the border and write Jeopardy questions. Again, that category is books that changed America, and the clue, this Frenchman had good things to say about the United States in his 1835 to 1840 work, Democracy in America. And finally, for one last single point, the final Jeopardy category of this night back in a year that we do not know when it was. The category was 1960s television, and the clue, Jackie Gleason considered, but then decided against suing this show that premiered September 30th, 1960. The category again is 1960s television, and the clue, Jackie Gleason considered, but then decided against suing this show that premiered September 30th, 1960? Those are the 11 questions that make up the final Jeopardy round. I will repeat them each one more time rather quickly before we take up the answers to rounds 5 and round 6. Starting again with question number 1. The category for it was Dr. Seuss on the 11 o'clock news. The clue: the town of Whose is saved from certain death by bezel nut juice due to the heroics and keen hearing of this tidal elephant. Question number 2, the category: bankrupt. The clue: January 11, 2012. This maker of Twinkies and Wonder Bread. Question number 3, the category: on edge. EDGE in quotations, meaning those letters appear in the answer. The clue: this pounding tool takes 2 hands to operate. Question number 4, the category: international affairs. The clue: abbreviated OAS, it promotes cooperation and commerce between American nations. Question number 5, the category: pop culture. The clue: in 1987, Nikki Sixx of this band was declared dead, got 2 adrenaline shots, and hitchhiked home from the hospital. Question number 6, the category: on lead vocals. The clue: 1987, dude looks like a lady. Question number 7, the clue: the category rather, what are you, yellow? The clue: in warmer regions, nests of this wasp species, named for the coloring on its abdomen, may weigh half a ton. Question number 8, the category: aviation pioneers. The clue: in 1910, this man, the first name in a British auto firm, became the first to fly non-stop across the English Channel and back. Question number 9, the category: Switzerland. The clue: Emmental, which is basically synonymous with Swiss cheese, gets its recognizable look from these microorganisms. They ferment lactic acid into the carbon dioxide that makes the holes. Question number 10, the category: books that changed America. The clue: this Frenchman had good things to say about the United States in his 1935 to 1940 work, Democracy in America. And finally, the final Jeopardy category, 1960s television. The clue: Jackie Gleason considered but then decided against suing this show that premiered September 30th, 1960. Those are the final questions of the night. It is now time to take up the answers to rounds 5 and round 6 before we figure out the final scores and prizes. Here we go, starting with the answer to the before and after round. And I should have mentioned, though loyal quizzing and quarantiners will know, there is an opportunity if you have an answer that you think is worthy of a point that isn't necessarily reflected in what I've said, you can type it into the chat and we will take it up as a group. Basically, whoever chirps the loudest, well, I shouldn't say that, but chirp, 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 and then I will make a decision based on whether it should qualify or not. Question number 1, before and after. This former dictator and leader of the Khmer Rouge can be so hypocritical. The answer: Pol Pot calling the kettle black. Pol Pot calling the kettle black is the answer to number 1. Number 2, Mr. Jessica Biel heads the 1980 Olympics. Mr. Jessica Biel is often, obviously Justin Timberlake. You need to know, though, where the 80 Olympics were held. If you knew that, you might have gotten Justin Timberlake Placid was the answer. Number 3, the nation home to Abidjan en anglais can come out now. This is kind of a tough one. Ivory Coast is clear. Abidjan, the largest city and economic capital of Abidjan. Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire. Question number 4, also kind of tough. The DMX Broken Social Scene collaboration that never was. You needed to know 2 of those artists' most popular songs, and maybe you would have gotten Rough Riders' Anthem for a 17-year-old Girl. Songs respectively by DMX and Broken Social Scene. Rough Riders anthem for a 17-year-old girl. Number 5, the castle where Prince Philip spent many a summer is torn between right and wrong. The answer there, Balmoral Dilemma. Balmoral Castle in the Scottish Highlands is the private castle belonging to the royal family, often where Queen Elizabeth and her family spent time in the summer. Question number 6. Famous actor who's been canceled over the last month can't touch this. This story is crazy if you followed it at all. That actor who has lost a lot of clout and movie roles over allegations that he's a cannibal and a sex predator. The answer would be Army Hammer Time. Hammer Time being the reference, you can't touch this, the MC Hammer song, which he references, it's Hammer Time. I see a question coming in. Balmoral Quandary. Moral Quandary? Yeah, I'll accept Moral Quandary. Fair enough, Daniel. 2 Dan taking issue with that. Moral Quandary, I'll accept that. X gonna give it to you, forget it in people. You forget it in people, that's a song as well as an album, right? If it is, I will accept that. It is the studio album. Was there a track on it? I mean, I'm going to give you that just because clearly you're a loyal Broken Social Scene fan and it is the same spirit. In the same spirit, I will give it to you. Sandring Hamlet. No, I'm not accepting Sandring Hamlet. I mean, I see where you're going with there, Adam, but no. Hashtag free Dolores. Moving on to the next before and after, which was before and after. We did the Army Hammer Time one, right? On to the next one. During your morning hygiene ritual, you pull back this and take a bow. The answer, shower curtain call. Shower curtain, obviously, something that you'd use in your morning hygiene routine. Curtain call, where you take a bow during a theatrical performance. Question number 8. After leaving her post as Secretary of State, she signs a deal to become the new face of this classic San Francisco treat. The answer to that question, Condoleezza Rice-A-Roni. Condoleezza Rice-A-Roni. Condoleezza Rice, Secretary of State under George W. Bush. Rice-A-Roni, a San Francisco treat. Question number 9. This one was a little bit, again, outside the confines of the traditional before and after. Benny Anderson has 3 bags full. That answer is ABBA Black Sheep. ABBA, the band that Benny Anderson is a key member of or was. ABBA Black Sheep, obviously a nursery rhyme with reference to 3 bags full. And finally, the last question in the round, question number 10. She's planning on leaving the Bundestag later this year and is going to take up third base with the Toronto Blue Jays circa 1984 to 1992. You had to know the Jays roster when I was a kid. This guy was a big deal back then. If you knew that and know who is currently the leader in the Bundestag, the German parliament, you might have gotten Angela Merkel-Gruber. Angela Merkel, German Chancellor, Kelly Gruber, former third baseman with the Toronto Blue Jays. All right, those are the before and afters. Not an easy round. Well done. I would say if you got even half of those, you're doing really well, because this is definitely a round that requires a bit of weird thinking. Moving on to the next round. You can't chirp me for the sports question. I think that was the only sports question in the entire night. I noticed as I was putting this round together and finalizing it that I did not have any or enough, certainly, sports questions. So you can't complain about that if you don't like the sports questions. Question number 1 in the final Jeopardy round. Who is it that is saves the town of Whoville in the Dr. Seuss question? That would be Horton. Horton is the answer. Number 2, the company that went bankrupt on January 11th, 2012, maker of Twinkies and Wonder Bread. That is Hostess. Hostess is the correct answer. Question number 3, on Edge, the pounding tool that they were looking for, Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer. Question number 4, international organizations. is International Affairs. What's abbreviated OAS? It is Organization of American States. Organization of American States. Number 5, pop culture. Nikki Sixx of this band was declared dead. The band that Nikki Sixx is a member of, or was a member of, Motley Crue. Motley Crue, the answer. Number 6, on lead vocals. Who was it that sang Dude Looks Like a Lady? Obviously an Aerosmith song. The lead singer of Aerosmith, Steven Tyler. Steven Tyler. Question number 7 in the Jeopardy round. What are you, yellow? Who is it? What wasp species builds a nest that could be up to half a ton in weight? Those would be yellow jackets. Excuse me, hiccups. Yellow jackets. Number 8, Aviation Pioneers. This is kind of a tough one. The man who flew the first nonstop flight across the English Channel and back was Charles Rolls. R-O-L-L-S. Rolls-Royce, obviously the company he became famous for founding. If you got Rolls, you get a point. Good for you if you know it's Charles Rolls. Number 9 was Switzerland. What was it? The microorganisms that ferment lactic acid into carbon dioxide that makes the holes. That would be bacteria. Somewhat of a simple answer, but bacteria is the correct answer. Books that changed America. De Tocqueville is the author, the Frenchman who had good things to say about the states in his work, Democracy in America, de Tocqueville. D-E-T-O-C-Q-U-E-V-I-L-L-E, even though spelling doesn't matter. And finally, the final Jeopardy question, 1960s television. The clue, Jackie Gleason considered, but then decided against suing this show that premiered September 30th, 1960. The answer, the show, The Flintstones. I think people thought it was a ripoff of The Honeymooners that Gleason was the star and creator of, but similarities, but he didn't end up suing. Flintstones, though, the answer. All right, that is it for questions and point possibilities. Hopefully everyone has been able to do as best they can. And now the ask is that you head back to that Google Doc and enter your scores for rounds 5 and round 6. And we will then award final points and prizes tonight. Prizes, again, care of our friends at Steam Whistle, giving away 12 packs of beer to all winners tonight, first, second, and penultimate place. Plus, you get the bragging rights if you come in first or second. Penultimate, the team that comes in second last, but still is a valued member of the Quizzing and Quarantine family. Scores coming in. Thanks to all those teams for getting their scores in. We'll give them a couple more minutes. And just a couple of reminders, if you haven't and you feel like it, if you're on Instagram, follow quizzing.endquarantine, quizzing.end.quarantine. I think if you just look up Quizzing and Quarantine, you should find it. But that'll be the spot where you can find upcoming dates, upcoming streams and links, plus a question a day to keep your quizzing brains sharp during this difficult time. Adam, the answer was de Tocqueville. Yep, you got it, Kathy. Also, feel free to DM me on there if you got suggestions or ideas, or you want to put forward prizes, or you want to be a sponsor, all the different things, you know. And I haven't done this enough tonight. Subscribe to this channel. You'll also get notifications. So many ways to get updated. And again, I see a couple donations coming in for my efforts and fundraising goals with Covenant House. Don't worry if you don't donate tonight. I will mention it again next week and the following week, because as I said, our Sleep Out event isn't until April 29th. We will be here, thanks to Steam Whistle, every night this month, every Friday this month. Tonight, next Friday, the following Friday, and the Friday after, as we know that as a province, we'll be stuck at home for the next 4 Fridays, unfortunately. All right, looks like a lot of teams have gotten their scores in. Thank you very much. I will do a quick figuring out of where people are. Keep in mind that you have to enter scores for all 6 rounds in order to be considered for any of the prizes, but certainly the penultimate prize. All right, looks like all scores are in. Before we wrap up, I just want to thank everybody for being so loyal and committed to this evening. I know you don't have a lot of other options, but it's good to know that among the limited options you do have, that this is something that you enjoy doing and that people are coming back week after week. And can't thank enough Tim and his whole team at Steam Whistle. Cheers to them and to all the work they're doing, all the amazing community building they're doing despite this weird time. If you get a chance and you're in the beer store, the LCBO, buy a 12-pack of Steam Whistle, because they do great work, and like all local businesses, they need the support right now, like a lot of places do. All right. As I mentioned, there's a penultimate prize tonight for the team that tried their best but did not end up on the leaderboard, but still is going home with something. In fact, that something tonight is a 12-pack of Steam Whistle. And that team tonight, with still a very impressive score, that team is Billy Ray Virus. Congratulations. You are getting a 12-pack of Steam Whistle beer. In case you're wondering what the average score was amongst all teams that were competing this evening. Oh, you know what? I misspoke. I will still give Billy Ray Virus a penultimate prize because I called them out. But you know what? I actually didn't. I didn't look properly. The actual penultimate prize tonight, who are going to also get a 12-pack of Steam Whistle beer, it appears to me, is, because I think their point's going to come in just a little later, is, can I please get a waffle? Congratulations to you folks. You are getting also a 12-pack of Steam Whistle beer. Congratulations. On the other side of the leaderboard, the teams that did quite well tonight, and as I was mentioning, I'm assuming all of these teams probably were above average. The average score tonight was, amongst all almost 50 teams that were playing, the average score was 41. And indeed, all of these teams scored above 41. The top 10 teams tonight doesn't mean that all these teams are getting prizes, but they all deserve a shout out for finishing in the top 10. And we have a couple ties, but we also have a couple teams that are clearly well established as leaders. The top 10 teams tonight are, let's make sure I can see their name and the score at the same time. Here we go. We got a case of the Mondays tied in 10th place. Also in 10th place, a tribe called Questions, congratulations, and the Quarantine. Those 3 teams tied for 10th place tonight. Solo in 9th is Trivia Lassie's The Dog. In 8th place, we have 2 teams tied. We have Shit, We Forgot to Think of a Name, and Bitch, I'm Moderna tied in 8th. 7th place, we have 2 teams tied. We have Threat Level Midnight plus Third Wave Badgers. Congratulations, you folks are both tied in 7th. In 6th, we have 4 teams tied in 6th place tonight. We have Once, Twice, 3 Times a Lockdown, Pit Soup for the Stay-at-Home Ordered Soul, Jackie, Channing Tatum, and Thigh Masters of the Universe, all tied in 6th. In 5th place, 2 teams tonight tying for 5th. Living Covida Loca and COVID 69, you guys tied for 5th. In 4th, again, 2 teams tied for 4th. Those teams are Big Fact Hunt and Cotton Balls. Congratulations in 4th place. In 3rd place, singularly, just 2 points back from 2nd. Did very, very well tonight. Stop, drop, shut them down, close up your shop. You are in 3rd. Solo in 2nd place tonight and going home with a 12-pack of Steam Whistle. We have Gates of Hell. And finally, in 1st place, a team name familiar to us who used to gather in person for drinking and thinking. They don't always make an appearance, but when they do well. Werewolf Bar Mitzvah in 1st place tonight. Congratulations to all teams who played this evening. You all did a fantastic job just for coming out and finding a way to gather and be somewhat social during these weird times that we are still experiencing a year after first acknowledging these weird times. Again, thank you so much. Don't forget to donate to Covenant House if you can. I'll share the link again one more time. And please take care of yourselves. Stay safe. It's a weird time out there, and us younger folk have a lot to be concerned about with this new 3rd wave and the spreading of the variants. But I hope to see you back here safely and soundly next week. We will reconvene for another week of quizzing and quarantine. Until then, have a great week. Stay safe and party hard. Thank you. Stay nerdy. Oh, top score, you're wondering, Craig? Top score of the night was 62. If I'm not mistaken, that is a perfect score. Well done to the team that did that. All right, thanks again, everybody. Stay safe, and we will see you same time, same night next week. Bye-bye.